Today we're going to talk about health is your birthright, and Webster says about birthright. I have to put my away there, so I take it home with me. Webster says that birthright is any rights that a person has by birth. Any rights that a person has by birth. So, health is your birthright. Means that you have a right to health. Simply, very simply because you were born. And you may be thinking, well, now, how does that compute? How does that work? What's the proof? Okay. Well, think about an astronaut walking on the moon. He's wearing this very peculiar looking outfit. A huge bubble and helmet encases his head, and his feet are weighted down so he doesn't go flying off into space. And there's some kind of a knapsack or something on his back. So why would this astronaut have all of this strange-looking equipment? Well, because if he didn't, he'd be flying off someplace. He wouldn't be able to stay put. So some very intelligent scientists designed this for him, an outfit that would enable him to function productively, more or less, in that environment, in the environment that he found himself in, or find himself in. So it's pretty good. And I don't know that it's ever failed. It's never failed him. Well, now let's think about us, all of us. As I used to say with the teenagers, let's think about us'ns, meaning all of us. So we can compare what I just shared with you with our physical body. The whole thrust of the Bible is saying that man, and that means woman also, of course, that man is a spiritual being, that we are a spiritual being. And sometimes we forget that. Or maybe we never knew it. Really, truly, honest to God, knew it. Maybe we knew it up here, but not with down here, all of us. The feeling nature as well as the intellect. So, but we are a spiritual being. Where does it say that? Well, in Genesis, the very first book of the Bible, very, very clearly says that we're made in the image and likeness of God. A spiritual being, first. So God is spirit, and therefore, the Bible is saying that you, made in me and everybody else, made in God's image and likeness, are also first spiritual, spirit. You are a spiritual being first. We sometimes forget that. We think that we're only a physical being. We're not. We're first a spiritual being, and we have taken on a physical body. First, a spiritual being. I've said this many, many times before, and I'll probably say it many, many times in the future. We're a spiritual being first, living in a spiritual universe governed by spiritual law. And then we have taken on this physical expression so that we can express in the outer, in the physical. In the New Testament, Jesus reaffirms the truth that you're a spiritual being. He teaches that God is your Father. That being the case, then that makes you and I and everyone else children of God, sons and daughters of God. Jesus also taught that God is spirit. So you, me, everyone else, is an offspring of God. Logically, spirit God, also spiritual man, spiritual expression. Living in a spiritual universe governed by spiritual law first. I'm not saying, excuse me, that there isn't a physical law in operation. There is. So often we pay attention to what the physical law says and does and means before we get a grasp of a spiritual law in operation. I know that Judy went to get me water. I have water in my office, but I didn't want to sneak off and get it. But anyway, so in order to be a spiritual being, that you are, we need to function in a productive and, I would hope, I would pray, in an easier way in our physical environment here on earth. Okay? In this experience, this earth experience that we're in. So, it's necessary for God, for that divine intelligence, that God part of us, to design for us, for you, me, and everyone else, a garb, okay? A life support system, in other words. We call it the physical body, or the earth. We call it the earth suit. Just exactly as these space scientists designed a life support system for... I bet I'm getting water from all directions. Thank you. Thank you very much. I told you. Shall I, baptism or what? See how God provides? Oh, okay. I think the other water came from the faucet. You know, we have well water here. A lot of people don't like the taste of well water, okay? So we always use water out of the big jug downstairs. I see Sylvia laughing because one day she brought water from the faucet up. Yeah, she forgot from our kitchen. It's good water. It's good water. There's nothing wrong with it. It just tastes like open expression. At least I didn't spit it at you. But I looked at her and she's going, "Oh my God," But anyway, thank you very much. Thank you. So anyway, back to this idea of the astronaut. He can't stay on the moon forever with all of the garb that he has on. He has to go and get refurbished, get put together, in other words. And the same thing for us, okay? The very same thing for us. We can't just function forever and ever knowing that this is all we have is a physical body, and we're subject to all the whatever that's going on around us. Everything that we hear and see on TV and read in the paper and whatever, that we have within us, this Spirit of God, this God presence, this part of us that refuels us, if you will. And the way that happens is really through meditation, okay? We connect with the power. We are not the power, okay? We're not the source. We're not the source. The source is God, always. Not just for our own being, for our own physical, but also for everything that concerns us. The source is God. If I was given a prosperity lesson, I would say your job, your retirement check, your inheritance, your whatever, is not the source of your good. God is the source. If we get tied into and focus on just that, okay, I have a check coming, and I've heard so often people say, I have a very limited income. Well, if you want if you would like for me to join with you in declaring that your good is limited, I will do that. But no, if we move out of that, if we can move out of that consciousness and know that God is our source, our limit, there is no limit to God's good. This isn't fairy-airy stuff, folks. For you people that know me, you know that when I tell a joke, I tell you it's a joke. This is no joke. This is the way the Spirit of God works. This is the way that the truth works if we apply it, okay? And I say oftentimes it works if we work it. If we don't work the truth that we know, it's still there. It's still there. But it's not working in our behalf because we're camouflaging it with negativity. With negativity. With I can't do, I can't have. And of course, one of the real getters is you're in a group of people. I don't know. I don't care if you're in a restaurant or wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you're in a group of people, and someone will say, well, you know, I heard that so-and-so has such and such. Are you with me? Some kind of an illness, some kind of a whatever. And someone else will pipe up and say, oh, I remember when my uncle, he had something like that. And, oh, my God. Okay? And there we go, off to the races. Okay? What we're doing, and sometimes we're not even aware of this, is that we are in a very real way disconnecting ourselves from Source because we put our whole attention into something less than good. And I know that it takes concerted effort to go back to Source, to go back to oneness, to go back to saying, or at least thinking if you can't say, that I am not accepting that. It's an untruth. Okay? We don't have to say it, but we need to hold that in consciousness. Whatever untruth, whatever comes to us, okay, what we hear, what we see, whatever, and we have a choice to make. And I talk about this so often because it's so important. We're always in the process of making choices. And what are we choosing? What are we choosing? Are we choosing the very best? Are we choosing the truth? Or have we veered off course and have gathered, have joined with others, saying lack limitations, can't afford, don't have. I got this pain, I got this cramp, I got this, and so does somebody else. And you know what I'm saying? It goes on and on and on. And if we want to really demonstrate health as our birthright, we need to get a hold of this very simple. It's very simple truth. It's not complicated. Very simple truth. So there's two things here that to allow the stream of life energy, the Source, to move through us, to move through this physical body, this earth suit. Two words: faith. We talk about faith a lot, okay? Faith in the good, faith in the lasting, faith in that's always the same, okay? And attention. Probably very familiar with faith. Sometimes I ask, not because I expect an answer because it's none of my business, but sometimes I'll ask, where is your faith? Sometimes I ask me, where's my faith? Okay, where's my faith? We need to know where our faith is where our faith is. Is it in that which is good, true, lasting, whatever, or has it kind of slid over into the faith in, well, I hope I don't get the flu. Oh my God, I didn't get a shot. Oh geez, maybe I will get it. You understand what I'm saying? Where is our faith? So faith, and also attention. Attention is our key to life. To the law of mind action, talk about that here a lot. Thoughts, beliefs, attitudes, and very short, the contents of our conscious and subconscious minds, levels of awareness, mind, tend to become very, very objectified in and on our earth suit, on this physical expression. And the content of our mind, both the conscious and also the subconscious, results from what we hold. What is it that we're holding in our consciousness? 3 weeks ago, I had a whiteboard brought up here and explained about the 3 phases of mind: superconscious, subconscious, and conscious, and how there's 3 phases of mind and how they work together, and what is our responsibility to keep the subconscious clear, so we're not reliving the same thing over and over and over and over and over some more. Because the subconscious mind does not make decisions. It doesn't say yes or no. The conscious mind does. The conscious mind only. So, when you place your attention on the truth of your being, the supply of life, the good, God, life energy, this source begins to speak to every cell and every atom in the body, in your body temple, because your focus is there. What we think on grows. Very basic, very, very basic unity concept. What we think on grows. Okay? Because we give our thought energy into that idea, into that thought, that whatever. So, where does faith come in? Well, in order to turn your attention to this universal source, which is God, not person, not thing, but God, is life-sustaining, it's life-restoring, it's also universal energy. You have to have faith that it is there and that it's available. And you can turn to it at any time, under any circumstance, anytime. So, that's good news. That's the good news. Maybe the not-so-good news is this, that worry, that tension, what's some of the inner turmoil, anxiety, cut off the flow of this universal, I see head shaking, this universal life energy to the cells of our body temple or our earth suit. You know, there's a story that was told about a psychologist, and also this person was a truth student. Tells how for years he felt responsible for his father's death. For years. And he held this. The attention was on that he was responsible. I'm responsible for my father's death. And he says, I was in a negative state negative state fueled by a bad belief. When that belief was dissipated and light came and understanding was given through a good belief took place. In other words, no longer was he under that false illusion that he was at fault. Okay? The recharging of the organism, the body temple, could go on again. For years he had been ill. One thing, and then the other, and then the other, and then the other. Because his attention was on, I'm responsible for my father's death. I'm responsible for my father's death. Okay. So it took a toll on his physical being, on his earth suit, in other words. His chronically ill body became well after he learned that I can release that. I was not responsible. I can release that. It opened the way for that life energy, that God energy, to move through that's his body temple. And he said here, his attention has been focused on the belief in his guilt, and guilt expressed in his body as a chronic dysfunction that would keep reminding him of that awful, awful, awful sin. Take away the mental impression of guilt, and the life force flowed forth. Okay? Where is our attention? Where's our attention? So, big point is here, are we receiving? Are we receiving? Are we a receiver of life? Are we a receiver of God's life energy? not the generator, not the source. No, we are not the source. There is within us that Spirit of God moving, always. So, as a receiver, you might say, of life energy, not the source. And when your attention is fixed on worry and anxiety and fear and all the negativities that comes along, it's like a battery that we put in the garage, and it's there for a couple of years, and then we hook it up and the thing doesn't work. We think, what happened? Well, what do you suppose happened? It was not used. And we have this within us to use, to make use of. Anyway, so you're a spiritual being, and to wrap this up, because we have a couple of other things I need to share with you today. But as a spiritual being, wearing every day, a support system that really enables each one of us, every one of us, to function in a wonderful way, to function in this physical world that we live in. But first, I always say first, we're a spiritual being living in a spiritual universe, governed by spiritual law. So health is your birthright, but you can cut off the flow of power of life energy by negative mental images, talk, the negative attitudes of thought. So the secret of faith and attention. This is where's your attention? And take inventory every once in a while. Where's your attention? Where's my attention? On the details? On the description of what's wrong? Or is it on the source? The one presence, the one power, God. Let's take a moment. I love to bless my body. I love to think of how God created such a marvelous, wonderful, wonderful earth suit, physical body that takes me places and does things. And when we think about it and really bless our bodies, it makes such a big difference. Myrtle Fillmore, many years ago, spoke to her body when she was given basically the death sentence. And she wasn't ready. She wasn't ready to leave this earth experience. She had little children and a husband and dreams and desires, etc. And she blessed the atoms and the cells in her body and was totally healed. Totally healed. It may not have come overnight, but so much was learned in the meantime. But she was healed. And so let's just take a moment to relax and receive a greater realization of God's presence within you. And really, the sacredness, the beauty of your body temple. So we're just going to rest in the silence now, and in your own way, you bless your body. If there's any place in your body temple that perhaps needs to be healed, needs to be that healing light, that healing love to be applied, then do it. Do it now in this consciousness of oneness. You are a spiritual being, and God has equipped you with everything you need the energy, the light, the love, the peace. You are a holy being because the Spirit of God is within you. And I think of 1 Corinthians. Do you know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit? Holy Spirit within you. Do you know that? Which you have from God. So you're not on your own. And Father, we are so grateful to know these truths and to know that first we are a spiritual being living in a spiritual universe governed by spiritual law, and that there is a divine energy within that heals all. And so it is.